Tonight, to the rescue, America's biggest consumer bank buys the biggest mortgage lender. But can it ease the mortgage crisis? Some families say they need help, and they need it now.
We've been cutting back everywhere that we can.
I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, twisters in January? Rare winter tornadoes are no longer so rare, and they're striking all across the country. And follow the money. Why is a company under federal investigation still getting millions of your tax dollars? Plus, Assignment America, the bank that really gives.
I appreciate it.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with our economy. Fears of a looming recession and the ongoing credit crunch led to another down day on Wall Street. The Dow dropped nearly 250 points today after American Express said more of its customers are defaulting on credit card payments. The Nasdaq lost about 49 points. But today there was also news that could help ease the mortgage crisis. Bank of America agreed to bail out Countrywide Financial. Anthony Mason has details.
The nation's biggest mortgage lender was in big trouble, tottering on the brink of bankruptcy. In December, Countrywide's foreclosures doubled from a year ago, while delinquency soared from 4.6% to more than 7%.
So they needed a savior and needed it quickly.
Enter Bank of America, the country's largest consumer bank, with a $4 billion buyout that rescues what would have been the biggest casualty of the mortgage mess.
And it's very important, not only for Countrywide's health, but for the economy's health, that something was brokered.
Because the graveyard is already full of mortgage lenders. Since January of last year, 147 have gone under. But Countrywide is the largest. The California-based company services more than 9 million home loans, or about 1 of every 6 home mortgages in the country.
So if it went into bankruptcy, that would have been a disaster for the homeowners, for the borrowers.
Instead, consumer advocates say Bank of America's deep pockets will allow it to renegotiate mortgage terms for borrowers in trouble.
Bank of America, which is one of the biggest players in the capital market, can use their huge resources and influence to tell investors, you need to restructure these loans.
What this deal will do, if approved, is help stabilize the mortgage markets and ease the credit crunch, which ultimately will make it easier for everyone to get loans.
So
Katie?
Is this the beginning of the end, Anthony, of the mortgage crisis, or is that wishful thinking?
The hope is, Katie, that this is the beginning of the bottoming out, but there's going to be more bad news from big banks next week. Citigroup, Merrill Lynch report their earnings. The expectation is there will be billions more in mortgage-related losses.
All right. Anthony Mason, Anthony, thank you so much. Meanwhile, more experts feel we are sliding toward a recession. Today, a Wall Street Journal survey of top economists put the chance at 42%, up from 23% 6 months ago. But what does a recession really mean, especially for middle-class families? Sandra Hughes visited one from the same county where Countrywide is based and in the same field, real estate, as we begin a new series we call Hitting Home.
While the experts argue over whether there's one coming, Dean and Dory Julian say they're already living in a personal recession.
How's the monster go?
Last September, Dory was laid off from her job in the real estate business.
It came as a total shock. And, it's one day you're working and the next day you're not. And we've got mortgages, we've got car payment, and we just adopted a baby.
During a recession, the average family loses $5,000 in income. This family of 4 is out twice that much in a month.
I'm going to probably be taking on a second job.
We took my 15-year-old out of a private school and put him in the public school system. We're talking about selling a car.
What happens in a recession? Everything goes down. Incomes decrease and spending tightens, and that drives prices down. Employment numbers decline, and home sales go down too.
Bless you.
And that's not news to Dean and Dory. They're trying to sell their vacation home because while they saved for a rainy day, they never expected it to pour, never imagined a recession.
What does it really mean?
It's a day of reckoning is what it is. People have to realize that things aren't going to be perfect all the time.
For now, they're cutting coupons and watching lots of movies at home.
Not going out to eat at restaurants, it saves a lot of money. I'm doing a lot of cooking.
It could be another year before it even turns around. And that's what we're looking at, with the election year coming, and it's just going to be tough.
And it will stay tough, no matter what you call it. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Simi Valley, California.
The economy, of course, is a big issue this election year, particularly in industrial states like Michigan, site of the next big Republican primary. Mitt Romney has poured a lot of resources there for good reason. Here's Bill Whitaker.
Michigan is extremely important to Mitt Romney.
We need to have somebody who cares very deeply about this state, and I do.
It all began here. Born and raised, his father was once governor, and if he doesn't win the GOP primary Tuesday, Michigan could be where his White House dreams end.
It's extremely uncertain. If Iowa and New Hampshire were a toss-up, this is totally unpredictable.
Michigan is so important, it was among the first words out of his mouth at last night's South Carolina debate.
I'm going to fight for every single job. Michigan.
According to one top aide, Romney's basically pulling out of South Carolina, pulling his ads off the air there and in Florida, throwing all he's got into Michigan, shifting strategies on the run.
Which of the presidential campaigns right now is still using their same strategy they had 9 months ago?
Romney's greatest ally now? Chaos. The thinking, let John McCain and Mike Huckabee duke it out in South Carolina. Let Rudy Giuliani break the bank in Florida. A war of attrition that leaves them all bloodied, limping into Super Tuesday with no clear leader of the pack.
There's really no big front runner, no inevitable candidate. There are a lot of people in a very fluid race, and I don't know how long this is going to go on.
You ever seen a year like this?
I don't think any of us have ever lived to see a year like this. This is just a bizarre cycle.
And it's an uphill battle for Romney. McCain won this state in 2000, and Huckabee can tap a deep vein of evangelical voters here. The latest polls show them neck and neck. No home state advantage for Romney yet. Katie?
Bill Whitaker reporting for us from Detroit tonight. Bill, thank you. Money was the big topic on the campaign trail today. Here's tonight's CBS News Campaign 08 notebook.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, we've got plenty of money.
Maybe that's because his campaign staffers are all tightening their belts, giving up their pay. About a dozen people on Giuliani's team, including his campaign manager, are working for free this month to hold down spending. Spending was also on the mind of Hillary Clinton today. In California, she proposed a $70 billion emergency bill to help jumpstart the economy, plus a $40 billion tax rebate. You don't need an MBA from Harvard to understand what she was talking about.
Right now, we're in a big hole. We got to dig ourselves out. I want to pass out shovels to everybody.
And now to the weather. What a strange winter it's been so far. Last night alone, we saw tornadoes in several southern states as well as in Washington state, historic floods in Illinois and Indiana, and thunderstorms hit the Northeast today. As Nancy Cordes reports, a lot of people are still wondering what hit them.
This is not supposed to happen, not in January at least. Tornado after tornado, like the one that flattened homes in Dyer County, Tennessee.
Just looking at it and knowing it's not there anymore.
You cannot imagine what it's like.
Just 11 days into the new year, and already at least 87 tornadoes have touched down in the U.S., compared to just 27 by this time last year. Twisters have been ravaging the Gulf Coast and Midwest all week. In Washington state, where they're almost unheard of, Vancouver residents couldn't believe their ears.
It was coming our way, and it started sounding like a jet taking off.
Add to that severe thunderstorms and flooding in Mississippi and Alabama, and it seems like spring is striking months ahead of schedule. Meteorologists blame a blast of warm weather.
And sometimes that's all you need, just that slight amount more of warmth and moisture to bring about severe weather. It's a very fine line between a heavy rain shower and a tornado.
Record highs were reported in 33 states this week. Here in Detroit, where the average January temperature is 31, they hit 64 this week. And in a city that's normally blanketed in snow this time of year, there's not a flake to be found. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, Detroit.
There is strange weather overseas as well. In Baghdad, the green zone was white this morning. Snow fell in Iraq's capital for the first time in memory, thanks to unusually cold weather. Some Baghdad residents said they had only seen snow in the movies. It didn't last for long, but children and grown-ups all got to enjoy it. Meanwhile, President Bush is in Kuwait tonight as he continues his Middle East tour. Earlier in Israel, he visited the Holocaust Memorial and toured Christian holy sites along the Sea of Galilee. The president says he'll return to Israel in May for more Middle East peace talks. There is much more CBS News ahead. Later on, Steve Hartman reports on a bank that's investing in its employees' ability to do good. But next, how does a company that's under federal investigation keep getting millions of taxpayer dollars? We'll follow your money when we come back.